Hello everyone. So this is the summary of the poem Bosom Friend by Hira Bansode. The meaning of the bosom is close. This poem is written by Dalit poet Hira Bansode and published in 1984. In this poem, poet criticizes the discrimination on the basis of caste system in India. She is also critical of the higher caste people who humiliate people belonging to lower classes. In this poem, poet invites her close friend for dinner but feels hurt with her friend's casteist remarks. So this is the text of the poem. Today you came over to dinner for the first time. You not only came, you forgot your caste and came. Usually women don't forget their tradition of inequality, but you came with a mind large as the sky to my pocket-sized house. So when the poem opens, we get to know that the poet's close friend who belongs to an upper caste is invited to poet's house for dinner, and poet herself belongs to a lower caste. When poet's friend comes to her house, then poet feels happy and excited, and she is full of gratitude for her friend who has ignored the issue of caste and has come to her house. And now poet feels humble and overwhelmed to see her friend's generosity and says that she has a big heart and she has a mind large as the sky. Because poet knows that women usually don't forget the caste differences, and she says that she is welcoming her friend to her small house. I thought you had ripped out all those caste things. You came bridging the chasm. Chasm means gap that divides us. Truly, friend, I was really happy with the naive. Naive means innocent. Devotion of Shabri, I arranged the food on your plate. So in these lines, poet says that she thinks that her friend has ignored the difference of caste between them by coming to her house, and poet is really happy because she feels like innocent Shabri who had tasted all berries before giving those berries to Lord Rama in order to make sure that all of those berries were sweet. And now poet also feels the same kind of love and devotion for her friend. But the moment you looked at the plate, your face changed. With a smirk, you said, "Oh my." Smirk means scornful smile. Do you serve chutney koshambi this way? You still don't know how to serve food. Truly, you folk will never improve. But when her friend looks at the plate of food being served to her, her attitude gets changed, and she taunts at the poet by saying that poet doesn't know how to serve chutney koshambi, and she has a scornful smile on her face as if she is humiliating the poet. So in the next lines, she further humiliates the poet by reminding her of her low caste by saying that you folk will never improve, and which comes as a shock to the poet because she has not been expecting this kind of behavior from her friend, and she feels hurt and disappointed. I was ashamed, really ashamed. My hand, which had touched the sky, was knocked down. I was silent. Toward the end of the meal, you asked, "What is this? Don't you serve buttermilk or yogurt with the last course of rice?" So in the next line, poet says that she feels sad and broken and her pride gets hurt, after seeing her friend's bitter attitude towards her. And she feels that her friend is not devoid of caste prejudice. She becomes silent. Okay, in the next lines, her friend humiliates her more by saying that that a poet didn't serve buttermilk or yogurt with rice. Oh, my dear, we can't do without that. The last bit of my courage fell away like a falling star. I was sad then numb, but the next moment I came back to life. A stone dropped in the water stirs up things on the bottom, so my memories swam up in my mind. And you know, in these lines, poet's friend remarks that she cannot eat her meal without yogurt or buttermilk. Okay, and now poet loses her courage like a fallen star, and she feels sad and numb. In the next lines, poet remembers her past days. Okay, the words of her friend have disturbed her mind the way a stone creates ripples in the silent water. And in the next line, she is going to answer her friend. Dear friend, you ask about buttermilk and yogurt. What, how can I tell you? In my childhood, we didn't even have milk for tea, much less yogurt or buttermilk. My mother cooked on sawdust she brought from the lumber yard. Lumber yard is the storehouse carrying useless things. Sawdust is the leftover of wood. Wiping away the smoke from her eyes, every once in a while we might get garlic chutney on coarse bread, rough bread. Otherwise, we just ate bread crumbled in water. Crumbled means dipped. Okay, so now poet, thinks about her past because she had a difficult past, and they were very poor. She tells her friend that when she was a child, she didn't even have milk, yogurt or buttermilk. Her mother cooked food with the leftovers of wood from the storeroom, and she would wipe away smoke from her eyes while cooking. Sometimes they would eat a rough bread with garlic chutney, and most of the time they would just eat a bread dipped in water. So those were the struggling days for the poet. Okay. Dear friend, Shrikhand was not even a word in our vocabulary. My nose had never smelled the fragrance of ghee. My tongue had never tasted halwa basundi. Dear friend, you have not discarded your tradition. Its roots go deep in your mind, and that is true, true, true. Friend, there is yogurt on the last course of rice. Today, the arrangement of food on your plate was not properly ordered. Are you going to tell me what mistakes I made? Are you going to tell me my mistakes? So now poet is again telling her friend about her past days, that during her childhood they didn't even know about sweet dish Shrikhand. She didn't even smell ghee at the time. She didn't even taste halwa or basundi. And now poet reminds her friend that she is not deprived of caste prejudice and discrimination on the basis of caste, and she is deeply rooted in this practice of humiliating people belonging to lower castes. And in the next line, she says that she can serve yogurt and buttermilk to her, but her friend has blamed her so much. Okay. And again she is asking for the mistakes which she has committed, and she is repeating this line. Actually she is very sad and disappointed, and she is deeply hurt. She's deeply hurt. And and she says that the arrangement of the dishes is not done properly, and that's why her friend is blaming her. Okay, so her friend has nothing to do with the feelings and emotions of the poet. And throughout the poem you see that she has kept on taunting her. And here the poem ends.